up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the Stay Tranquilo Podcast. We're here with the man, Mr. Eats 305.
Yeah, what's up?
It's been a long time coming. I know we've been trying to do this for a minute. The matching Dolphins hat was not planned.
Nope.
But I mean, it is a good time to be repping the Dolphins, I would say right now.
Oh yeah. It's always a good time, actually. I don't lose faith in them.
No, me either. But it's been a tough few years as a Dolphin fan. But all good things.
It's an exciting time right now.
Yeah, man. So before we get started, wanted to do a quick little shout out to Stella Rosa Wines. We're gonna do something today where we're gonna actually try this Moscato right here. So we'll pour a glass in a little bit, and we'll get into a little bit about what you think is actually some good things to pair it with, maybe. So you're the foodie expert.
Yeah, putting me on the spot.
Yeah. But they got a couple different options. They got their non-alcoholic. They got their canned wines, which are great, ready to go drinks on the go. They got their champagne and rosé and prosecco, and then again a couple different flavors in the non-alcoholic, I guess, spirits that you can call it. But definitely check them out. They're pretty much available at any major retailer. So yeah, check them out. But so yeah, man, I want to toss it to you. Give a little bit of intro about yourself. I'm sure a lot of people obviously know who you are, but you never know. There's always new.
I hope so. I hope I could keep helping more and more people out, man. So if you don't know, it's Mr. Eats 305 on most socials. I don't like to call myself an influencer, a food critic, or a restaurant reviewer. I simply just like helping people find good places to eat and different experiences, things to do, and just kind of be that trusted local source. That it's filtered through me and my experiences. I've probably eaten at over 500 restaurants in my lifetime, and been doing this now for 7 years, since 2016.
Nice.
Started off as a hobby when my fiance, girlfriend at the time, we're starting to date. We were just going out to eat every weekend, just like how most couples do.
So what else do we do? We're gonna go eat.
Yeah. So I was posting back on my Snapchat stories, places, and just typical like 2016 things. A picture of my dish and no context.
That's good.
That's it. But friends were asking me like, "Oh, what'd you get this time? Where'd you go?" And it kind of sparked that idea of let me just create this platform on Instagram where it was like an up and coming app. There was no stories. There was none of that. And little by little, it just grew over time. I kept with it. Consistency is key. We can go back into that later. Went to law school. While I was there, besides that first year, you don't have that much time in that first year. The second and third year, I had a lot more time, and I was building that brand and staying consistent, and it was developing into a nice, little thing that I had going on. Still didn't think that it was going to be a full-time
Right, you never
job.
thought it would become something like what
No,
it is today.
I was going to be an attorney. That's why I'm in law
Most
school.
people don't. They start something and they don't really know what's going to come, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, look what we did.
Yeah. So by the time I graduated, I had around 70,000 followers, which is great.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Especially since I wasn't giving it my all. But when I graduated, I was like, let's see if I did give it my all, where it could take me.
Right.
So I crafted up a nice little business plan with goals that I had in mind, and I hit my goals from the first year that I had set out in the first quarter.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, that's a great sign. Let me stick with it. Let me continue. And that was about a year ago. I'd say a little over a year. That was in February of 2022.
Okay.
And now we're recording this in March of 2023, we're in March. We're in March. Almost April.
Yeah.
And I've grown approximately over 100,000 followers in that 1 year span.
So you're talking about almost 200K at this point?
Yeah, I'm at 170 something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah.
Solely on Instagram, and then on TikTok and the other platforms, I have a good following too.
Right.
But my main hub of content creation is Instagram.
And have you felt the need to make a shift to TikTok with all the hype around it, or has that not been something of really a focus? It's like, let me just continue to double down on Instagram because that's where I'm seeing the best.
No, I think it's important to kind of tap into every market that you can. I'm also on YouTube Shorts and Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
But my main focus is Instagram. The way I create content is Instagram first in mind. And when you're creating content, you kind of have to know who your target audience is, the target market. And I just feel like I connect better to my audience on Instagram.
Got it.
So I just kind of repurpose some of my stuff on TikTok.
That's what I was going to ask.
But every now and then, when I do see a trend or when I do see something that fits me, I'll go and put it on TikTok that maybe might be focused just on TikTok.
Got you.
I think it's important for everyone to keep doing that and not just focusing on one, social platform.
Of course, yeah.
Imagine if people did that just on TikTok, and now there's like these rumors and the speculations of it.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Being shut down.
Yeah, I know people that have started to actually make a living off of TikTok.
Yeah.
And they've just doubled down on it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but, to your point, you can't be married to one platform. It's like the same thing where how they always tell you, like, diversify your portfolio of incomes, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that same mentality.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think those people are going to be fine because they're creators. I think that's the best way to, if you're going to label, because people love labeling things.
Yeah.
If you're going to label someone like me, it's just a creator where you're going to create content for either yourself or for a brand or for some sort of action, whatever it's like, your job or whatnot.
Yeah.
They just know to create good content.
Exactly. Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, and there's always going to be a space for that.
Yeah, they're creatives at the end of the day, so
whether it's traditional marketing, back in the day,
going to find a way.
For sure.
So rewind a little bit, right? So you started in 2016. You said that it was something that was more of a hobby at the time. It wasn't really something that you were thinking was going to turn into kind of like a full time, right? So in between that period of you're in law school, you're just getting this started. What was kind of your, I guess, process into really trying to say, hey, I want to grow this, right? But I also got to focus on law school. Like, what was your kind of mindset going through that at that time?
It was kind of my passion project. Like, I loved doing it. I loved going out to eat. I started seeing the impact that it was having, that people were trusting me and were going to these places, and we were helping small businesses, and we were being able to not just be posting cool pictures or nice pictures of a burger or whatever, but actually have an impact.
Some sort of value.
Yeah. So when you see that impact and you have that like rewarding feeling, it drives you to continue. And that's my day-to-day drive, is that you see the impact that it's helping people, and that people are finding good places that they might have not found without my video or whatever content I create.
Yeah. I mean, it becomes almost like a resource book, essentially, where it's like, hey, I'm thinking of a new spot to find. Where am I going to go to? I'm going to go to Mr. Eats, right?
Yeah.
He's the 305 guy. Like, he knows the spots in Miami. I'm going to see what his recommendations are. And then from there, you have an arsenal of options to choose from.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've tried to create through my social platforms. And I know it's not the easiest to navigate, so then I also, on my website that I just launched, I created this map that's interactive, has roughly 400 spots in Miami of my favorite spots that are broken down by cuisine and location. So if we were to click on the map right now, it would tell us what's near us right now.
Okay.
As well as a search bar that if you type in pizza,
so
pizza will pop up.
You can make it as specific as possible in terms of what exactly you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then the map will kind of populate
exactly
like
date
that.
night, my favorite spots, everything there from casual to high end.
Very cool.
Money signs.
Nice. It's almost like a Yelp-ish kind of
but
map.
Filter, you're not going to find, a fast food chain on there. And I love fast food, but that's not what people are going to look for.
Yeah, of course.
You know where your normal spots are going to be.
Yeah, because for me as a consumer, right, if I'm looking for a new restaurant, I'm just going to put restaurants near me, but I'm going to see 7, 8, 9, 10 different restaurants, and I'm not going to really know anything about them. I might look at a couple pictures, maybe a couple reviews.
Yeah.
But coming from like a source like yourself, there's already some sort of like, almost like a verification process that goes through that.
Yeah, everything that a consumer would look at, I look at prior to going. Like I through the years, I've did my homework, and I kind of know more or less when a spot's going to be good even before going to it. If I on the back end, I look at the Google reviews, I look at the Yelp reviews, I look at the people that are in charge, the investors. I know basically what's going on before I even step foot in the door. I know what type of content I want if I'm going to visit that spot before I step foot through the door.
Nice.
You know, I already know what the most popular dishes are.
Yeah.
I already know, you know, through my back end research, what to expect. And that's something that's helped me when I travel too, to find new spots that even if I'm not the most familiar with the area.
Right.
So if I were to visit Las Vegas or any other,
You kind of go through that same vetting process.
that same vetting process. It takes me a little bit longer, obviously, because I'm not as familiar.
Yeah, shit. I mean, how many times, like, I'm sure it's happened to people that are listening to this, like, how many times have you missed missed in terms of, like, going to the wrong place?
Especially traveling.
Especially
Like,
traveling.
you
You're
wanna
like-
be-
You do your kind of same vetting process, you know, like me, myself, but I get there and I'm disappointed or
Yeah.
I'm underwhelmed
Yeah.
almost, right? And then you might maybe even paid a premium because you're more inclined to spend money when you're on vacation on going to that cool spot. And then you're like, dude, that was kind of like average, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a process that ultimately kind of helps vet it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it works every time.
Of course not, but it's probably better than the rest at this point.
Yeah, and it's through practice. Like,
Yeah.
it was just kind of doing it for my job. It's
Yeah.
it's my
It
job.
is, it is, exactly.
So, you know, luckily, every time I travel, I'm looking for those type of spots.
Yeah.
So I'm not just, you know, stuck on Miami.
Yeah.
But I kind of just should say that I'm from the 305, always repping Miami, no matter where I go, whether
Yeah.
it's New York, LA,
That's cool.
Vegas, all those places where, you know, I've been retained to go and visit and do reviews over there
Right.
to
Yeah.
highlight, to help people that are living in Miami
Exactly.
where to go
So
when they visit.
The inclination is like, hey, come to Vegas so that we can promote to the people that live in Miami.
Correct.
basically.
So, because 80% of my audience is from South Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And it's a good marketing kind of tool for outside cities where a lot of people from Miami travel to.
Yeah, if brands or whomever may be are looking for like a direct impact, a target audience, target market,
Yeah.
and they're looking for South Florida, I'm the, I don't want to say the spokesperson, but that's who my audience
Of
is.
course. Yeah, no, makes sense. Something that, you know, I'm thinking, not only for my personal stuff, but I'm thinking, I'm like, you have a platform that ultimately has been very successful and has, I'm sure, so much more room to grow.
Yeah.
But in this process from 2016 to now, right, what is one of the obstacles that you've kind of faced through this process that's ultimately something that you had to overcome? Challenges, maybe it wasn't necessarily like a direct obstacle, but some sort of challenge along the way that you've faced that you were like, you know what, I got to do this if I really want to make this work.
Yeah, I would say graduating law school and realizing this is something I wanted to try out, creating that business plan, sitting down and saying, you know, what type of content do I need to put out to be the most successful and do what I feel people want to see, people want to, you know, consume. That was that shift from photos to videos.
Okay.
So it was natural in the sense of that's where everything was headed, but it wasn't the
True.
most natural for me.
Yeah.
Because it was more time consuming. It was different than what I was doing. So it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it was something I always wanted to do. I slowly and gradually was getting into it little by little because
Was it
I
the aspect of you like actually being on the camera and talking?
that was
like
definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the most uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't. It took time.
Yeah.
You know, the more I did it, the more I was able to go out in the field and meet people and showcase my face more and more. Like that was the necessary next step. And it didn't happen one night to the next. Like it was a gradual thing. I started in the kitchens and I was recording kind of behind the scenes of chefs and how they're making dishes.
Yeah.
So I was making videos. I was learning how to
Okay.
edit. I was learning the back end stuff of how a video should be put together.
Yeah, and at first when you started, those videos probably were nowhere near the quality of what they are today.
No. That's definitely a big tip and a big piece of advice is don't wait to create content because you don't feel like it's at par
Yeah.
to people that you're seeing.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is just to start. Like if you feel like you want to be doing something, just put content out there consistently and
Yeah.
you'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get better. So, you know, my photos were not the best. If we look back,
Yeah.
my photos were not the best in 2016, obviously. One, technology improves.
Exactly, yeah.
And you improve. You understand lighting. You understand those basics of photography.
100%.
Once I got good, it switched to videos.
Yeah, I mean it's a constant evolution.
You,
It's
you
not-
keep learning. You
yeah.
keep learning. You keep growing. You keep understanding who your audience is. You keep understanding how you can improve.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps me going too, is not just that Miami's booming, and I love learning about new spots, and I love
a lot of your success came prior to even this kind of like Miami kind of, I guess, boom.
Yeah.
Right?
It was thankfully I started early, but it was through just like loving food and the stories that it brings, the cultures, celebrating more than just like it tasting good. Understanding how it's like rag to riches stories, and just like embracing different cultures that you normally wouldn't try, because growing up, believe it or not, I was not like this crazy eater. It was abuela's house, that whatever she made you were eating, and when you went out, it was, Miami didn't have this stupid amount of restaurants that we have now. We had a lot of chains, and the rest of the restaurants were in Miami Beach, Wynwood, downtown. Growing up in Kendall, there was Y La Canaria and Chili's and different chain restaurants that were around us. And my parents weren't traveling all the way to Miami Beach to go to a fancy restaurant. So it wasn't until college where I got like my car, and like you finally started to explore.
That's exactly when I started like actually eating food.
Like
I think I had sushi for the first time in college.
Probably same. And then that was just like instant. I fell in love with wanting to grow the palate and understand more than just what's in front of the plate.
And where are you from again? Are you Cuban?
My grandparents are Cuban, but my parents were born here in the States, and so was
same. The grandparents Cuban, and both my parents were born in the States. I mean, it's funny because my grandma, you would think they all cook, right? All the abuelas cook, but she didn't know how to cook until she got to the States. Because she grew up, pretty wealthy family, so it wasn't really something that she needed to do. And then when she got here, it was a complete opposite. It's like, I have to cook for my family, stay-at-home mom, all that, and she's got her cookbook here still to this this day, which is cool.
So that was a big thing that kind of led to my love for food. It was understanding my own culture and seeing the variety of dishes that we had. That, it was arroz con pollo one day, ropa vieja the next, carne con papa the next day. It was like, dude, I have a full restaurant menu at home. Let me do this now with every type of cuisine, every culture, whatever, whether it's Asian, Indian, and American, doesn't matter what it is, Italian, you name it, the world is out there, and they have different types of food. So I love it.
Me too. Any opportunity to try something new at this point, because I grew up and my palate was small, man. Like I didn't eat anything, and now it's like I'm open to try everything and anything, and it's cool because I think you nailed it. It kind of immerses you in the culture, right? Because the staff is usually from there as well, so the ambiance, the restaurants do a really good job of kind of like bringing it to life. So you get a really kind of like an affinity towards that culture and an interest into that culture, not even just on the food, just outside of everything that the culture may have to offer.
It kind of gives you, like, no pun intended, but a taste of the culture.
Exactly.
So if you like it, go and visit and like immerse yourself into Greek culture or Italian culture, whatever it may be, and visit the country, and you'll love it even more.
Totally. So someone that wants to start a personal brand, right? Obviously, that's a little bit different than 2016 than it is today. What would be one of the things that you would recommend someone? Because I feel like it's becoming more of a common theme that people want to start something, right? They have these hobbies and they want to turn it even to a little business, turn it into a little page, whatever it is, but they want to start something outside of maybe whatever they're doing for work. What would you recommend to somebody that wanted to get started in this kind of climate today?
So in 2016 to I think 2018, I don't think I showed my face on my page at all. I kind of wanted to keep it like behind the scenes. No one knew who I was, kind of like old school food reviewer, food critic type of thing. But I never, one thing I never did is talk bad about a restaurant either. I don't, before to answer your question, I'm gonna highlight that, is that if I don't have a good experience, I don't share it. Because they could have an off day at the restaurant, they can be understaffed, whatever it may be, but I don't want to kill a business or do damage to a business just because one person said it was bad.
Right.
That's not who I am, and I just think it's better. And people always comment all the time, like, man, this guy loves everything. It's like, no, you don't understand.
There's so much other things behind the scenes.
Exactly, and even if I go to a place that I love, I'm only highlighting the dishes that I love. So they'll feed me literally like half of the menu, if not the entire menu.
Yeah.
And I'm not posting about the entire menu.
Of course.
I'm posting 3 to 5 dishes that I thought were the best. So to the people out there listening and seeing the page, I don't post literally everything.
Yeah.
I just post the things that I like, and I just keep my mouth shut on the bad experiences that I do have, which are very little, but they still happen.
Of course they happen. I mean, there's no perfect spot out there.
Yeah.
You know,
so, and then to get back to your question about starting your own personal brand, consistency and just putting it out there, starting. Don't wait for like needing the perfect name, needing the perfect brand idea, not investing in branding. Like I literally just rebranded Mr. Eats and created a color palette and logos and all that and just this year, and this is 7 years in. I had nothing before that. Yeah, literally nothing. It was just posting food and like a catchy name. But it's only catchy because people got used to it. Yeah, people started understanding that it was creating its own brand awareness, its own brand. Right. But for advice, kind of not caring what other people think, staying consistent if you like it, and make sure that you like it because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need to keep going with it.
The consistency
is
comes
key.
Only if you actually enjoy what it is that you're doing. Like if you start losing the joy out of it and you're just doing it because you want to be the next cool guy on this on Instagram, then you've lost sight of why ultimately you want to do it.
For sure, and I get questions every now and then from people that start a food page or whatever you want to call it, and they're like, yeah, I started it because I wanted free food. I'm like, that's not going to last.
Also a bad start.
Yeah, like that's not why I did it. That's not why anyone should do it. Like it's because
you probably didn't even start getting real food in the beginning. Like,
no, I still to this day I pay for meals when I don't want to, like, I never solicit any business. I'm not the one to reach out and be like, hey, I'm Mr. Eats. This is my media deck. I reach this amount of people per month. Like, pay me or feed me. Like,
it's all outreach through the brand.
Yeah, they reach out. They reach out to me, and then we negotiate on the back end type of things. When I can make it, all that. Yeah. And
it's got to make sense for both parties. Like if it doesn't make sense
then I do my homework and I see like if it's a place that we need to go and spend my time and try it. Yeah. Then I go and I do my due diligence, but I don't outreach at all to places. Okay. I spend money if I need to, especially the first 2 or 3 years when I was creating the brand.
Of course.
It was my hobby. It was like we're going out to eat every weekend. Might as well just post about it.
It's a little bit of an investment in yourself and the product that you're trying to create.
I was already spending the money anyways. So that's how I see it. Like if you love
you're
golf,
going to those places. That's how I look at it. I started doing golf stuff because I was like, dude, I play golf all the time. Why not make content out of it, right?
Exactly.
Podcasts, I mean, there's a little bit more logistics to it too, but I'm like, I'm a social guy. I like to talk to people. I love networking with people. Like, why not put some mics in front of us and let's have a conversation, right? Yeah. So just kind of like highlighting some of the things that you maybe already do and just say, hey, get a phone, like how we were talking about before. You could shoot a phone footage like in 4K now. Yeah. And it's gonna look really good.
Yeah, I film everything on my phone. Yeah. All the videos that people see, it's on my phone. Even if they have a phone and they're like, man, but it doesn't come out that good, that's through practice. Yeah. Through understanding what the lighting is, where it's coming from, what style shot that I'm getting. I used to go to a shoot and record like 15, 20 minutes worth of content. Now, and then to narrow it down to under a minute. Wow. Yeah, so I was just overshooting content. I didn't understand what I was shooting. I was going in blind. Like I was like, all right, I'm going to this place.
Now you know exactly what to capture.
Oh yeah. Now I leave the place with maybe 3 minutes in content to narrow it down to 30 seconds to a minute. Right. It's a lot easier for me because I already have the video in my head.
Saves you a lot of time.
Saves me a lot of time. So I know what I need to record when I'm there, and I'm not always on my phone also when I'm there. I'm not like instantly editing and like on my phone while I'm eating. Like especially if I'm there with people, I'm getting the shot and I'm putting the phone away. The new dish comes, I'm getting a shot, put the phone away. Yeah. So I try to schedule myself to Mondays and Tuesdays. I try my best to stay in the office and my office, and whatever, it's a coffee shop or at home, whatever it may be.
Wherever you got Wi-Fi.
Whatever I have Wi-Fi, and I edit the content there.
Okay.
And I get it done for the week. I have from the week before of my restaurant
that
visits.
You recorded before.
Yeah, so Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, I'm going out and shooting content. Okay. But I'm not posting the same day, the same place.
Yeah.
If I'm posting that Wednesday from the Wednesday before.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that helps me a lot too, to stay scheduled, stay organized on top of things, and have like a consistent consistent schedule for content. That's kind of like a template. So it's like I know when I need to post.
Exactly.
It keeps me like accountable for
a content plan helps tremendously, because then you start getting all over the place. You know, even when you're creating the content, you don't know what content you want to be creating, and then you get there and you're like, this doesn't really make sense. So yeah, at least for me, I've seen a huge difference. Like when you kind of plan the content ahead of time, you know exactly how you want to release it, because then you, like to your point, you could be producing all this content, but then when it comes to like releasing it on social channels or however you want to leverage it, it may not make sense, right? And then now you're just like, shoot, I just wasted 3 hours of my day recording this content. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, especially when you start getting different brand deals too.
Yeah.
They have stricter deadlines, obviously, than you will have for yourself.
True.
So you have to understand what fits best for the brand and tell them, all right, you know, this Wednesday is a good day for launch because I don't have I can move things around. Because if you have a Tranquilo Tuesday, then you know that the brand doesn't have a space on Tuesday, that they should wait till Wednesday. So you have to understand, if you start different series, different ideas, to be able to organize yourself properly.
Got you. Yeah, no, that's really good advice. And you touched on like brand deals. So let's say you kind of started getting some traction, you know, and some people don't know how to monetize it, right?
Yeah.
So how does one monetize their personal brand? You know, what are some avenues where you can actually start to drive revenue to ultimately maybe pursue this like as a full-time gig?
Yeah, the brand deals are definitely the biggest source of revenue.
Yeah.
Again, I don't solicit business. So for some people, for all people, I think the biggest thing is to create a media deck that highlights your target audience, your insights,
So
your
views,
followers, the views, the reach, however many
yeah.
people you reach, who do you reach,
Yeah.
how old are they male, female, all those audience insights, any testimonials you may have, statistics. So if you know that you posted about a restaurant on a Tuesday, or you don't have to go into this much detail, but I posted this restaurant that had 14,000 followers.
Like almost like a case study kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Have a separate page for that,
Yeah.
and you know, in 24 hours it reached 16,000 followers. Like having
Nice.
those case studies as well as testimonials, and your rates broken down by content.
Okay. And
So
then how do you usually set your rates? When
it's a sliding scale. There's no like there
no,
used to
like,
be there's no
spot
like
to it.
sweet
Yeah.
spot. It used to be for every 1,000 followers that you had, was it $100? I forgot what it was. No, for something like that.
Yeah.
I forgot what
But
it
there
was.
was, like,
That
kind
was
of a
back in the
basis.
day. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
like
now it's-
2017, 2018 that people were like following that template. But now it isn't all about followers. It's about engagement and how much impact you have to your target audience, or who
Brands
are
are getting
their
smarter
marketing.
how to do this kind of like content marketing now too. They
Yeah.
know like, yeah, you might have 100,000 followers, but you're getting like 50 likes on your post, right? They're gonna be like, that doesn't add up there, right? So
Yeah, and not only that with like the fake followers or any of
Yeah.
that, but it's kind of like this case study of, you have creator A who has 500,000 followers
yeah,
around the world,
true, like very geo focused.
versus a creator who has 80,000 followers,
Yeah.
100,000 followers, but all 80 or 75% of them are in South Florida, or the target audience that you as a brand would like.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
what's more valuable to the brand? Someone who has more followers is going to charge you more.
Or someone that's
Or
like
someone
getting in
who's-
front of the audience exactly that you want to reach,
Exactly.
and that engages with it.
Exactly. So you have to understand, as your personal brand, what value you have for that client.
Gotcha.
So maybe you feel like you're overcharging them, but if you're very transparent with the brand, be like, what's your goal?
Yeah.
This is what you have in mind. This is what I can provide, and this is why I'm charging this much. Or, you know, if you really like the brand, you undercharge and like create a relationship. There's no perfect negotiation tactic for brands and
You
creators.
want to build long-lasting relationships with these brands too,
Yeah.
right? Like where you don't want to just say, "Hey, yeah, charge me X amount of dollars," and they might do it, and then you got to know what your worth is too, right? And then it might take some
Negotiating.
negotiating, but not only that, like let's say it's your first deal you finally land, right? You're going to have no clue really how to price that out. So it's like, just start at a reasonable place that makes them feel comfortable, that makes you feel comfortable for the work that you're going to ultimately do. And then from there, you know, okay, this was test one. You know what? This was actually a lot of work for that much, or it was actually, hey, you know what? This was the right amount of work for that price. And then now other brands may start coming up to you. You may know, okay, hey, you know what? It was worth that.
Yeah, and it's also a sliding scale. So, for example, you're not going to charge a local brand the same amount that you're going to charge a national, international mega brand.
True.
You know, you understand
completely different budgets.
That their goals are different, the budgets are different. They're reaching out to you for a reason. So you have to keep that in mind. You're not going to charge them the same rate.
Yeah. True. Cool. That was really good. So we're gonna get into the fun stuff now.
Let's do it.
All right. But before we get into the fun stuff, pour a little glass of this. We got the Stella Rosa Moscato. So have a little glass here.
Go for it. I'm no sommelier, so I don't know. I don't know if I can tell you what it pairs well with, but
we could pretend like you're a pro.
No, definitely not. When it comes to wine, definitely not. I drink tequila. But straight up, yeah.
Tequila is your go-to?
Tequila is my go-to. Whiskey is up there. But let's try this out. So,
cheers, sir.
Let's see.
It smells good.
Sweet, fruity, easy.
It is actually pretty good.
Definitely a daytime wine.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that it's kind of warm in here, so it actually is refreshing right now. I would say. I mean, you could pair that with like a good seafood. I would say hot day, picnic. Obviously, you could put this in a nice bucket of water, a bucket of ice.
Yeah, bucket of water.
Melted
frozen water.
Bucket of ice. It'll be nice. It's smooth.
Definitely something light, something during the day. I don't know if something too heavy with that. It would be the
sushi.
Yeah. A little seafood
salad,
dish.
Yeah. Cool. So obviously, Mr. Eat 05 got to ask you some of the spots in Miami, right?
Of course.
I'm gonna categorize it a little bit by maybe like top food choices in terms of like, what do you call it? Like
cuisines.
Okay. Kind of thing. And then maybe you can just give me like a wild card one. But what do you think is your go-to like Cuban restaurant?
For like sandwiches, lunch, breakfast, dinner.
That's a good point. It's true.
Yeah.
I would say let's do breakfast and then just sandwiches.
Okay. Breakfast is easy for me because Y La Canaria was the spot growing up. I mentioned it earlier, but the croquetas are the best for me.
Okay.
For like ventanita croquetas, because you can sit.
That's the consensus.
Yeah, it's always solid.
Yeah.
Of course, there might be better croquetas if you're sitting down at like a Michelin star restaurant that they're serving, you know, jamón ibérico y queso. Yeah. But for a ventanita for $1.25 or $1.50, whatever it may be, like that's my go-to, and they're still my favorite, even with all the bougie stuff too.
Yeah.
It's just like nice and warm and like just feel at home.
It's like a homey meal.
At home.
Exactly.
For sandwiches, that's tough because obviously there's pan con lechon, pan con vite, Cuban sandwiches, croqueta preparada, but I love Sandwich in Miami on A Street. People think it's like,
I haven't been there
you need to go.
It just looks unreal.
It's just consistent.
Yeah.
And that can be like the episode title, consistency.
Yeah.
They're just consistent, so you know what you're gonna get every time you go. And top quality stuff. They made their pickles, sauces. It's just next level stuff that they do there. Bread is always on point.
Okay.
But there's some hidden gems every throughout Miami.
Yeah.
There's the butcher shop in Palmetto Bay serves a great pan con lechon.
Yep.
There's Mary's Coin Laundry. That's the laundromat on like 27th, and Jalen Ramsey was there. Shout out Ale Narciso. He made the video.
Okay.
The hype video.
Yeah.
Probably he's the one that took him to Mary's Coin Laundry.
Dude.
It came out sick.
Badass.
They have one of the best pan con vite. Different because it's the palomilla.
Okay.
Whereas Sandwich, they shave the meat. So it's different.
Okay.
I like it, but it's not your traditional.
It's not a traditional
pan con vite. There's a bunch of Cuban sandwiches in Miami. That's gonna be. I do these like top 10 lists.
Yeah.
I've done pizza. I've done tacos. I've done coffee shops.
Okay.
Burger list is almost done.
Okay.
My burger list. I'm at spot.
I'm very curious about that one.
I can't leak anything. Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I've tried I have the spots written down because I did my homework on like which spots I need to try.
Okay.
I think I have around 35 spots in the list of what I'm trying.
Burger spots?
Just burgers. I'm at spot like 28.
Damn.
So only a handful left.
Are any of the Kush places in there?
In that I've tried,
That you've
yes.
tried, okay,
Yes. And with these rankings, whatever you want to call them, these I make sure that they have no idea that I'm there.
Oh wow! So you're just
So-
going in there,
Or
walking in?
I'll bring someone to come with me, order,
Gotcha.
and then bring it to the table, or bring it
Yeah.
bring it back to the car, or
Being
bring it to
discreet
whatever.
as
Like
possible.
try to. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go crazy
Of
and like
course.
put a fake mustache and like glasses and a hoodie. Like
Yeah.
it's not like that. If
It's
they
not that
recognize me,
serious.
cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to keep it as non-biased as possible.
Okay.
And I try to preach that every time I go to a place, even if they know I'm coming. Like, give it to me how you would normally
Right,
give a
don't-
normal
don't-
patron.
yeah,
Don't just
exactly.
treat me
Because they
differently.
know that you're gonna read it, review it, and then kind of like
So it's tough because I have times where I'd have a great experience,
Yeah.
but then people comment like, "Oh man, I went, like it wasn't that good." I'm like, "Dude, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
it's not. I had a good experience."
Yeah. And I think going back to your point of why Sandwicheria is so good, it's consistent.
Sandwich in Miami.
Sandwich in Miami.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, Sandwich in Miami. It's consistent.
Yeah,
right?
so it's a good spot to send people because
Yeah.
I know what they're gonna produce.
Exactly. And consistency to me is one of the biggest things with the restaurant. Like, if I go there 2 times and I had 2 different experiences already there, I'm already like kind of
Yeah,
like
it's
on the
tough.
fence if I want to go back.
Yeah.
But if I've gone there multiple times and it's automatic, then I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, it's so back to the Cuban sandwiches. That is probably going to be the
Okay.
list that I come out with after
Okay,
burgers.
nice.
But these lists take me about 3 months.
That one's gonna take you a while too, I would assume, because there's just so many spots to check out.
I think so. I'm only going to do Cuban sandwiches, not pan con lechon, not pan con vite. Only
so
a
the
Cuban
traditional
sandwich.
Cuban sandwich. Okay.
I wouldn't even say traditional because people put a spicy mustard instead of mustard.
Right.
I'm not going to not try that one
Of
because
course.
they put a different
Yeah,
mustard.
Sure. I think I like creativity.
Yeah.
Off of like
It's what makes
traditional
people
meals.
stand out.
Exactly.
When you put your own twist on it, whatever it may be, and high quality products and things that you're using.
And it's got to make sense because if you start going into like a complete left
No,
field,
then it's not a Cuban sandwich.
Exactly.
Obviously, like if
Yeah.
you, yeah, I was gonna say if you put some sort of other meat in there, it's not Cuban sandwich. But then Tampa, they add a separate meat. I forgot what meat they add to it, but
is too, yeah.
they
There's that
added
whole
something.
battle of who
Yeah,
started the
who
Cuban
started
sandwich,
it?
too.
I'm not even gonna get into that here.
It's not worth it.
No. It's
So
in
you-
between Miami, Key West, and Tampa.
Yeah, 100%. There's no other discussion after
Yeah.
that.
There is a story that the Cubans from Cuba brought it to Key West, and then from there it grew into what it is today. But they were starting on like a very basic level, and then in Miami it fully developed to what it is
Got
today.
it. Okay.
So,
So it may have
I think
started somewhere else,
The
but Miami
idea,
kind of, like,
the
amplified
idea
it.
started somewhere, whatever that may be, and then it finally became a thing when it
Gotcha.
got to Miami.
What's
And that's the
the-
story I'm gonna go with, just because
I'm
I gotta
sold.
represent the 305.
I'm
Yeah.
sold. There's a sandwich that's got, I think it's pork, cream cheese, and like guava.
The Elena Ruth.
Atlanta Ruth. Bro, I had that for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, so that's like the Cuban spin on it, because I think the American version of it doesn't have guava. It has like strawberry jam.
Okay.
So it's cream cheese, strawberry jam, and I think turkey.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one the other day. I didn't even know what it was at first. I'm like, dude, what is this? I started looking it up, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and then I think the way the one with guava is made, it's pressed on like a medianoche bread.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a little sweet, but a little salty with the turkey,
Yeah.
and like it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's like my fucking taste buds are all over the place.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So you have then out right now. You have the pizza list. You said.
I have my pizza list, my taco list, and and coffee shops.
So pizza. What would you say?
Miami Slice, because that list was only New York style.
Okay.
So that's the hard part when it comes to ratings and rankings, is that
there's so
how
many
many styles?
variations
Yeah,
of
how
it.
many styles of tacos are there? How
And
many
is it just traditional cheese usually that you did?
I started doing that, but then there's other. If a restaurant's known for a certain pie, a certain like pepperoni, let's say, then it's hard to take that away from them when that's like their signature slice.
Gotcha.
And that's what I normally
True.
would. That's what I normally would order. That's what people would normally order.
Yeah.
So I base it off of like their signature.
What they would order.
Yeah.
What someone would go there and
go and order at that
That
spot.
makes sense.
That was just the most like real thing than being like.
Yeah, because it's not fair if that cheese is not their, the cheese pizza is not their thing.
Which it's the base. You should be rating off of that, but realistically, you're not going to want to just go and get cheese. You're going to want to go and get their specialty pie, whatever that may be. At least that's how I order. So I base it off of my own personal thing because that's what I like doing.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be fake and like post that, oh, this guy does it only cheese, so I'm going to do it only cheese. Like, no.
Yeah. And then taco spot?
Taco, I gave it to the Wolf of Tacos. He's a pop-up, Eduardo.
Nice.
He makes killer tacos, man.
What spots did you try for the taco spots?
I tried 40 spots. I tried 40 spots for the taco spots. Only traditional, authentic. If you were starting to add like sour cream on top of it, you were not even getting tried.
Oh, okay.
And I love those spots, like tacos and tattoos.
What were you trying,
I went to Homestead and I tried 12 spots just in Homestead.
Wow.
And I think 3 of them out of the 12 only made it. So even in Homestead, where you think, oh, these are the most authentic, these are this, just because they may feel authentic doesn't mean that they are good.
Right, exactly.
Because in those places the taco's only $1, but then what type of meats are they using?
Quality.
What the quality kind of downgrades a little bit on the tortilla, the meat quality. So Eduardo uses top-notch meats. His style is great. He just has a passion for what he's doing. He's a pop-up right now in J. Wakefield, Dante's Hi-Fi.
Okay. Oh, Dante's, nice.
Yeah, right outside of it. And Miami Music Week just passed. He was at Factory Town in Hialeah. They're throwing like a party there too. He was there all weekend. So you just got to check him out on socials and you'll see where he's popping up. Yeah.
There's a spot that, this is nothing with the tacos, but I think you were there the other day, Apocalypse Barbecue. I played at Killian the other day, and I ate there. I had I forgot, one of their burgers.
I think
dude, everything looks good there.
Yeah, I don't know if he brought back another burger. I think he only has one burger. Was there 2 burgers on the menu? Because there was one point
2. This one they didn't classify it like as a burger. Like that one they said burger, and then this
Boss
one
Burger.
The Boss.
Yeah, that's the one I tried. That's the one I really liked.
It was really good with jalapenos, right? I think.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it had jalapenos, but yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Everything there that they do
the
is good.
Looks good. I know. They're like your traditional barbecue.
Yeah, I might. And I said that I posed the question, like, is that the best barbecue spot in Miami?
Yeah, but you haven't done a full-blown review there yet?
At Apocalypse, yes, but not rating all of the spots that are in Miami.
Okay.
There's some great ones for sure. I have in mind a top 5. So if I do a rankings video, I think I will do only top 5.
Okay.
For barbecue.
Got you.
So maybe I do that one before the Cuban sandwiches because it's going to be less work.
Yeah. There's less spots to visit. Too.
There are less spots, and I know the ones that are producing good content.
Yeah.
And using quality stuff.
Apocalypse has got a good story too.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was actual like food truck. He was just popping up with the smoker at Union Beer Shop in Wynwood.
He did Lincoln's a couple times.
Possibly
one of those. Well, I remember I saw him
Unseen.
at one of
I think
those.
Unseen. Yeah. Like in that warehouse space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Miami's got a bunch of cool spots that are popping up.
Yeah, and another question that I normally get is, aren't you going to run out of spots? It's like, what happens when you try all of them? And luckily, if people were to be listening right now and are just following me, I can be posting a spot that I just went to a few months ago, and they're not going to be scrolling back
something
down.
That you posted 6 months ago, if you reposted today, it would drive a lot of people there too. Because one, not everyone's going to always see your post.
Yeah.
And just people are always maybe not interested at that time, and now they may be inclined to be interested in that. You never know. But, yeah, that stuff doesn't die because even if they thought about going, then they might have forgotten. They still haven't gone, and they're like, oh, shoot, you remember Mr. Eats said that this spot? And then get people there. And
there's different ways of making content, too. It's not
menus
just like...
are changing, too, at these restaurants.
Yeah, and I can do the compilation list of, the best of a certain area, the best of a certain cuisine. Yeah, which that one's coming out soon. I have 2 more restaurants to visit for Best of Gables.
Yeah, dude, you have plenty of content that you could still do.
Yeah. No, I have 2 more to visit just for this segment.
Yeah, you even did something with the Heat Arena,
So yeah, I posted that one today. We work together a lot. Being that I'm an avid sports fan and multiple brands know that I work with the Dolphins, the Heat, the Marlins, on just letting people know of what to do. What the Heat's hosting, whether it's at Miami-Dade Arena or an activation that they might doing a pop-up as. So,
Right.
like, letting fellow Heat fans know, or sports fans in Miami, how to follow their team.
Right.
More than just what's on the court. Because these organizations are doing a lot more for the community.
They gotta
and
make a fan experience, too, in the stadium.
not only that, and they have an impact on the community and giving back.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that they use me as a voice, and I'm work with them together to be able to elevate more than
cool.
just, the sport.
Right.
What's on TV.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if you can answer this, but out of the Dolphins, the Heat, and the Marlins, who has the best food in the stadium? Could you answer that?
I mean, of course I could answer it, but whether I want to answer it is a different question.
Okay, that's fair.
I think every team has an exciting twist on the experience that they deliver. The Hard Rock has some great vendors. At Miami-Dade Arena, they have cool experiences of like inside and outside of the like plaza area, 601 and all that. And then at Lone Depot Park, they just, I don't know if you saw in my story, they created a giant Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
That it's like 3.
They're gonna be selling that at the stadium.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a thing that they had done.
A display? No. They're gonna be selling it at the stadium. It feeds like 8 people, and it's actually a pretty good deal. It feeds 8. It's a massive Cuban sandwich. I think it's like 34 inches, and it feeds 8 people. You can get it at section 40, and I think it's $50.
Damn.
That's great.
That is really good.
Feed literally like 2 families and divided by 8's nuts.
Yeah. Sheesh.
So
when I saw the picture, I thought it was just like a display, and then you were just getting the little pieces of sandwich, but it's actually for sale.
I'm going to opening weekend, because opening day is Thursday of this conversation. On Friday is the day I'll be there, and I'll most likely try it, even if I'm there with only like 2 people, just to see if it's not only like quantity but also quality.
It's quality.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Quality enough for like a ball game experience, because you're obviously not going to get like high grade Michelin star.
Of course, you have to know what you're going to be getting in.
Of course, so it's just getting a good meal and being entertained through food, beverage, and the ball games.
Okay, cool. So before we wrap up, a question that I love to ask everyone, and actually I'm going to ask you an additional one too.
Okay.
Easy question, but for you, what does it mean to stay tranquilo?
I think it means to stay level-headed in the sense of, thankfully, I don't really get too stressed out. You take everything day by day.
Yeah.
I stay organized, which helps me stay tranquilo.
Okay.
Because when you have everything in line, and you have your eggs in a row or whatever, ducks in a row.
Yeah, ducks in a row. Yeah.
You have your ducks in a row, eggs in a basket, ducks in a row. You're able to have more control over what's in front of you.
Yeah.
When you have more control, you're able to
be more calm in that moment.
That's not how you say it.
More tranquilo.
There you go. There you go. What's the additional part?
So the other day, me and my girlfriend where were we? Oh, we were in the Keys. I don't even know how this came up, but basically, do you have a dog? Okay. If your dog could request one song in live music, what song would it be?
That's tough.
Yeah, I know.
So in this hypothetical, do they want a certain genre? Do they want a certain is it what I listen to, or do you think what the dog would like?
It's what you think the dog ultimately would like.
Is the cheesy answer "Who Let the Dogs Out" by Baha Men?
Because
Because
this is the first time I asked this question, so I'm curious.
Okay.
I wanted to start asking it because me and my girlfriend were talking, and we're like, dude, that's actually a funny question to ask somebody. And I was sitting there watching the live band playing. We were in the Keys, and I'm like, I don't know what song my dog would ask, but I know the personality that my dog ultimately has. So there is something that people would know.
It's really Alex's dog, like my fiance's dog.
Got you.
My dog and like my family dog, probably some like screamo. He's a little Shih Tzu, but he barks like a madman. So probably some metal rock type of thing. He'll be screaming at the top of his lungs.
Mine would be listening to some hood rat shit for sure.
Yeah. But Alex's dog, it's a Brittany like pointer dog, something maybe sophisticated, but yet little feminine. Yeah, she's like, but if I had to pick one song, "Who Let the Dogs Out" by Baha Men would be
I like that.
a fun little response.
If I start getting that response all the time, then I would be like, all right, this is
that one, exactly. That's the first thing you think, just dogs and song, and that was like,
all right, cool, fair enough. All right, brother.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks, guys, for listening, and I hope we provided as much value as we could today. I thought it was an awesome episode.
Yeah, and if anyone out there has questions or need a spot to reach me at, it's Mr. Eats 305 on socials. My DMs are always open. I respond to everybody. And if you don't know and you had a question on cuisines, the map is the biggest tool that we're going to be adding photos, videos. You can make reservations on there.
Yes, that's an awesome tool.
That's going to be
live,
huge. That's live, but we still need to add the photos and videos.
Got you.
But the filtering, you can book reservations on there. You can do just about everything, and it's filtered through my homework of the back end stuff that we were talking about.
Awesome.
And then my guides on Instagram. Instagram has 3 tabs. It has your feed, your reels, your guides, and then you're tagged. My guides my guides tab has different cuisines, different areas broken down, and it has the locations of each restaurant.
Okay.
And if you're a visual person, that's where I get the idea from the maps thing that I'm going to add the photos. That one already has everything integrated, as well as the business's restaurants, their actual Instagram handle that you can follow them immediately.
Okay, damn.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
That's robust.
So that's where you can find it. Mysteries 305.
Sweet.
It's tranquilo. So I think if people are listening are gonna enjoy it.
I hope they enjoy it, and hopefully you guys get some good restaurants out of it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.